Now it is time to look back on week 5 of the Barclays Premier League. And instead of the usual Monday night football match, it was a Friday night match that kicked the action off as Liverpool traveled to take on Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, and a huge 3 points for the Reds as Liverpool won 2-1, scoring both of their goals in the first half. Dejan Lovren's beautiful side-footed effort off of an assist from Philippe Coutinho, and then Jordan Henderson's absolute worldy of a goal. Truly a world-class finish. And, the captain has been under intense scrutiny lately for his performance. That will certainly do a lot to ease the pressure moving forward. So on Saturday, the action kicked off with Arsenal taking on Hull City, and Arsenal getting a commanding 4-1 win. Alexis Sanchez got the scoring going in the 17th minute. Then Theo Walcott put the Gunners 2 goals to the good, and then Robert Snodgrass, who's off to a terrific start for the Tigers this early on in the season, scored in the 79th, and then Alexis bagged his brace in the 83rd, but the real story out of this match was the cherry on top of Arsenal's win. Granit Xhaka scoring what many would say was the goal of the weekend, and certainly going to be up there amongst the goal of the season contenders. And unbelievable long-range effort. Yes, no one was really marking him, but to score from that far of a distance, just way out there, you got to see it. It's one hell of a strike. So Arsenal coming away with the 3 points there at the Kingston Communication Stadium, getting the win on the road. And home match for Manchester City, taking on Bournemouth at the Etihad or the Emtihad, depending on what you want to call it. But say whatever jokes you'd like about Manchester City's fan support. The players clearly don't care because they earned another commanding victory. 4-0 over Bournemouth. Kevin De Bruyne got it going early. Beautiful goal on his part, one of the best of the week. And Kelechi Iheanacho, once again, when he plays, he scores. This Nigerian sensation is part of the future of this team. They're going to do everything they can to keep him moving forward. And I think he will continue to provide great competition for Kun Aguero. Raheem Sterling, as much as it pains me to say it, has enjoyed an incredible start to life under Pep Guardiola. Sterling has been one of the best Premier League players of the season thus far. He scored in the 48th minute. And then Ilkay Gundogan, he put his name on the score sheet for the first time for the Light Blues, and I'm sure he was happy to get off the mark there. So Leicester City parlayed their 3-0 win in the Champions League with a 3-0 win in the Premier League, taking out Burnley 3-0 at home in the King Power Stadium. And the story out of this one was an emphatic Premier League debut for Islam Slimani, the Algerian international. Came over from Portugal and scored 2 goals 3 minutes apart from one another. Stoppage time in the first half, and then in the 48th minute of the second half. Slimani, I've mentioned before, an outstanding player, one of the best at his trade. And, if you're Shinji Okazaki, you say, hey, I've had a good run at Leicester City, but now my role is probably going to be on the bench most games because Slimani is going to be too good to sit. Obviously, they're not going to sit the centerpiece of their attack, Jamie Vardy. So, Jamie Vardy and Slimani are going to make for a fascinating combination up top. The real question at Leicester City is, what are they going to do about the void left by N'Golo Kante? Now, West Brom, they hosted West Ham, Battle of the Westies at the Hawthorns, and ran roughshod. The Baggies did on the Hammers early on. And Sarah Chadley, the former Tottenham man, scored early on in the 8th minute, and he scored the 4th goal in the 56th. Meanwhile, Salomon Rondon, their main striker, scored in the 37th, and James McLean put his name on the score sheet in the 44th. So really a commanding lead from there. There wasn't much West Ham could do. But, Mikael Antonio for the Hammers, showing himself to be one of the best attacking players in the Premier League thus far. He scored in the 61st, while Manuel Lanzini scored a second in the 65th, but of course it was not nearly enough. So a big 3 points for West Brom, a team that you would think will not be in a relegation battle necessarily, but you never know in a league this competitive. Everton, quietly off to a super, super hot start in the Premier League. They beat Middlesbrough 3-1 at Goodison Park. Martin Stecklenburg scored an own goal for Borough early on. The Everton keeper let one through, so that was Borough's goal. So Everton went down an early goal. However, Gareth Barry and Seamus Coleman, they got the first half goals along with Lukaku's third goal of the first half of the Toffees. So Everton really took care of business at home, and they now have 13 out of 15 points. Clearly changes have been made to the culture at Everton under new manager Ronald Koeman. I personally think that Koeman is one of the best managers in the world. I think it's only a matter of time before he takes over a big club that, one like he used to play for, like Barcelona perhaps. Who knows what his future holds. But, he's clearly gotten the best out of Lukaku. Romelu Lukaku now has more goals at his age than Wayne Rooney did, Cristiano Ronaldo did, and Zlatan Ibrahimovic. He's truly on his way to being world class. And at that point, you would think he will depart Everton. However, on Sunday, Watford played Manchester United at home. And, for me, the big story out of Watford so far this season, really amongst biggest surprises in the Premier League, Etienne Capoue never scored for Spurs in the Prem, and he now has 4 goals in 5 games. What a return rate from the midfielder, truly outstanding. He scored in the 34th minute. Marcus Rashford, the young sensation for the Red Devils, scored in the 62nd, and then, from then on, Zuniga and Troy Deeney scored, giving Watford the 3-0 win. Now, Manchester United have lost 3 consecutive games. Is there a crisis at Old Trafford? Perhaps not yet, but they're on the verge. Jose Mourinho is clearly upset with the way things are going right now. If you're in Mourinho's shoes, you have to be looking at the midfield and saying, it's garbage. It's a terrible midfield. And who's the main culprit behind that? Well, that would be none other than the captain, Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney is washed up, over the hill. He is simply past it. Yes, there was a time where he was one of the best players in the world, truly world-class in his prime, but you could not have a player be any older of a 30-year-old than Wayne Rooney. He's had hundreds and hundreds of appearances for both club and country, and, the tires are done. His tires are bald, and, no hair transplant is going to save his career at this point. I think it is about time that Wayne Rooney consider a career in the MLS. However, that is unlikely when you look at the fat wages that Rooney is essentially stealing from Man U at this point. So, clearly, major issues at Man U. If I'm Mourinho, I'm saying to Zlatan, hey, you have to become the real leader of this team. Yes, Rooney has the armband, but it's on Zlatan to really get it done. There's going to be a lot of pressure on his shoulders moving forward. Now, Crystal Palace hosted Stoke City at Selhurst Park. This marks a tough point in the season for the Potters. Expected big things from them with the top-notch players that they have. However, James Tompkins scored in the 9th minute, got the scoring on early, as did Scott Dan in the 11th. And then James MacArthur and Andros Townsend scored in the second half to really make it a romp. Stoke's Marko Arnautovic kind of got a consolation goal, if you will. But Crystal Palace, looking good. I'm sure they're happy they have a bona fide striker now that with Chris Benteke. He's gotten his name on the score sheet, although he didn't get it done this week. But, things are looking very bright at Selhurst Park. I think Crystal Palace have a serious shot at a top half finish in the table. Now, Southampton, they hosted Swansea City, and Charlie Austin, the former QPR man, scored the lone goal of the match in the 64th minute. Big 3 points for the Saints there. Another team that will be looking to really make moves both in the Premier League and in Europe. Clearly, they're a team that is relishing the challenge of the Europa League. More power to them. Wish them all the best in that competition. So Tottenham Hotspur in the last match of the weekend, they took on Sunderland, and I want to give a shout out to Hyung Soon Min. Traditionally hasn't played very much, but now he's played 3 games in a row. There's a point where he put a Sunderland defender completely on skates. He is a very skilled player and could continue to carve out a major role in that side. But it was Harry Kane who scored the lone goal in that match in the 59th minute. So Spurs fans have to be encouraged by the fact that Kane is getting off to a good start now in the season. Of course, he's notorious for not scoring in August, but hey, it's September now. So Kane can play his best football. Now, let's take a look.